Everybody, JayC here, and welcome to another Thursday night live stream. We are one less than a day to go until Hasbro's PulseCon launches tomorrow. So I figured we'd talk about what we might see. I've got a little bit of insight on that, so I'm going to share that with you here tonight. But let's take a quick roll call, see who's in the house tonight. Everett, of course, is in the house. Looks like Blake is the first man in on the comment section. So Blake says the Hasbro team will no doubt ignore the issues, but maybe soft address them. So we'll get into more of that. You know, what issues are you hoping Hasbro addresses tomorrow? Everett is in the house, so welcome Everett. Mr. B. Exotic Carfax is in the house. Michael is in the house. Joseph, welcome. Mr. Allmine. Paul. Chuck. Corn Viper. Coco. Demandan. What's up, man? Articulated Doom. So it looks like we got a pretty full house. Latique. Blade. What's up? Casual Collector. YF. Yeah, cool. Good to see you. Oh, Darth Primus is in the house. What's up? 1983, the Nothing. What's up, man? So yeah, it looks like we got a full house in here tonight. So always good. So first, let me just say, for any of you guys who are in Florida, you know, I hope everybody is safe. You know, after Hurricane Ian went through a good portion of the state last night. My dad lives in Sarasota, so fortunately, the storm originally it was like slated, it was like going to go right over his house. But it shifted a little bit north after it went over Cuba, and so he really didn't get the brunt of the storm, thankfully. Didn't even lose power, which is really good. So, but unfortunately, like people in Fort Myers got like obliterated. So, anybody in Florida, you know, I hope you guys made it through the storm okay. And I believe it's heading for South Carolina now. So those of you in that area, be safe out there. All right. So, you know, first, you know, I'm interested to hear from you guys. You know, what is it that you're hoping to see this weekend? Not necessarily just Marvel Legends, but, you know, just everything that Hasbro, you know, what brand, yeah, let's put it that way. Which brand are you most looking forward to seeing new items for? Marvel Legends, G.I. Joe Classified, Star Wars, Power Rangers, Fortnite, starting lineup, Indiana Jones. We're going to get our first look at the new Indiana Jones figures this weekend. So, you know, what are you guys most looking forward to seeing this weekend? Coco says Shumagorath. You know, that name keeps popping up. I think it was JT Prime who threw out a listing for that, but I have not seen anything for that. I don't know. Yeah, that doesn't mean it's not happening, but I have not seen anything for Shumagorath. YF says HasLab USS flag. Oh my god, man. I mean, as much as people get upset about the prices of those HasLabs, I mean, people would just have a cow if Hasbro tried to do anything like that, because it would be so astronomically expensive. Um, Double D says, really excited to see Hyperion figure. I don't think we're going to see that tomorrow. Um, yeah, that's one of the figures on the recent rumored lists, which I believe that figure is happening, but I don't think we're going to see that tomorrow. Robert says anything but I think Ghost Rider HasLab. So it will be interesting to see if Hasbro, the Marvel Legend brand team, if I feel like they'll at least bring, show it off at during PulseCon, during the Marvel Legend panel at PulseCon, which is tomorrow. Tomorrow, the last panel of the day will be Marvel Legends. So I feel like they'll definitely like show it, like go through it and show off. But will they like talk about, the thing losing backer, the struggles that it's been having and everything? Are they going to really talk about that? I doubt it. I doubt they would mention that at all. I guess the big question is, will they go on and show off any of the other stretch goals at this point, or just let it flow? I mean, they added that extra head this week, which honestly, to me, that is very confusing that they just ended up doing the head sculpt as opposed to just throwing in the second early bird figure. And the reason why I say that is the second early bird figure had already, been priced into the campaign. And when I say that, I mean, like, the only thing about the early bird figure is it was hopefully going to get them to the minimum 9,000 backers that they needed by September 23rd, which obviously didn't happen. But basically what that said is that the cost of that figure, at the $350 price tag with only 9,000 backers, the cost of that second Ghost Rider figure was already covered. Now, that's not surprising when you look at the fact that the human form Robbie Reyes was just basically the same, figure as the regular Ghost Rider, meaning that they didn't require them to do a whole different new sculpt. They just did the head sculpt and repainted the pants. So there really wasn't a huge additional cost for adding that figure. But that brings me to the question of, well, why didn't you just throw in, when you came out, and instead of doing the head sculpt, which to me, I guess it accomplishes the same thing, but still, saying that you could get two figures, two different 6-inch figures with the HasLab, if you back it, just sounds better than saying, oh, well, you get the one figure now with the alternate head. I mean, for those who've been saying that this is way overpriced and the value is not there, I feel like the optics would have been better had they just thrown in the second figure, the early bird figure, and just thrown it in. And it's really kind of confusing to me why they did the head sculpt instead of just doing the whole figure. The only thing I can think of is because they had said they weren't going to extend the deadline on the early bird figure. Maybe they felt like this was kind of a workaround where they didn't lie to us, but still gave us the human head, which I think the most important thing about the human head, or the human form Robbie Reyes, is, a lot of people were saying, well, what's the point of being able to transform the car from a regular car, having it as a regular car, if we don't have a regular human driver? The regular car with Ghost Rider, flaming Ghost Rider in it would look kind of silly. So I think that's why they needed to have that human form still included. But just from the optics of it, I feel like they would have been better if they just thrown in the second figure as opposed to just the head sculpt. And like I said, from the standpoint of cost, that was obviously already factored in, because they originally were going to include it if it had gotten 9,000 backers. It's just by a certain deadline, but it still only needed 9,000 backers to include that second figure. A lot of people I've seen a lot of people say, well, Hasbro should have included the Mephisto figure as the early bird figure, and that definitely probably would have allowed it to get to the 9,000 quicker, or maybe in this case at all. But the reason why that's not practical from Hasbro's standpoint is that's a completely new figure, and that would have been a sizable additional cost to the campaign. A lot of people get confused because a lot of people are like, well, Hasbro's basically, you know, the $350 price tag is including all the stretch goals. And that's true to a certain extent. The thing you have to remember about these, you know, about anything in the toy, you know, the way the toy industry works is the larger a production run of something, the more a company can make of a figure or vehicle or whatever it is. The larger the production run, the cheaper it is. That lowers the cost. If they can make more of something, that lowers their cost because the factory gives them the more, you know, the bigger the order they can place with the factory, the bigger the discount they get from the factory. So that's the key thing to keep in mind when you think about all this. So essentially, you know, these add-ons are not free, but the way it works is, you know, Hasbro basically, when they were planning this out, said, you know, in order to be able to include the Mephisto figure, the first stretch goal, it needs to sell for $350, and then they need to be able to sell at least, you know, they need to be able to make a production run of at least 12,000 item pieces. So essentially, they need the 9,000. You know, the 9,000 production run covers the cost of the car, the figure, the early bird figure, and the add-ons for the car. So the $350 and a production run of 9,000 covers that. But in order to cover the additional cost of a brand new figure like the Mephisto, they need essentially 3,000 more backers on top of the initial 9,000. So they've added the cost of the Mephisto, and to offset that cost, they've increased their production run by 3,000. So that's how all of this works. So that's why it would not have been, at least if they could have come out and said, if they had come out initially and said, we need a minimum number of backers of 12,000. If they had set the original minimum backer number to 12,000, then they could have included the Mephisto figure as the early bird figure, and it would have worked out. And maybe that would have been better. I don't know. From a perception standpoint, if people thought right off the bat they were getting the Mephisto figure, even if, you know, the minimum number of backers needed was higher, that may have been a better route to go. But, you know, for whatever reason, they didn't do that. And I don't think the head sculpt has done a whole lot. It did, you know, when they announced it yesterday, it did, you know, the backer number started to at least go back up a little bit. You know, it had been since Friday night at midnight, it had been going down, down, down. And at least yesterday when they announced the head, it started to go up a little bit, but nothing major. It's not like it's gotten a huge boost, and it's still been kind of going up and down, up and down. So, you know, I don't think that alone is going to save the campaign. Yeah, Logan's upstairs with my wife tonight. He's been dropping in a lot more, but yeah, he might come down, you know, he might pop in later, I don't know. Lloyd, I'm sorry, says he hates the shoes, the way the feet look. I'll wait. Well, I don't know if we'll actually see it, but I mean, it's a digital render that we're seeing of the Mephisto, so I kind of feel like I would want to wait until I see the final version to make judgment. I mean, I didn't think it looked bad, but what's up, Ruben? Hey Lloyd, thanks for the super chat donation. Always appreciate it. Are they going to fix the Mephisto shoes? Do you know? I don't. I mean, honestly, I really don't even think we're going to get to the 12,000. I mean, that's just my honest opinion. I obviously I don't have a crystal ball and I can't see the future, but I really feel like there's not a huge chance at this stage that that thing's going to get to. I honestly am not even sure it's going to get funded at this point, and you know, even if it ekes over the 9,000, that it gets anything beyond that, um, I feel like is very iffy at this stage. I suppose if this weekend they go on and show the remaining stretch goals, which they said they weren't going to do, but you know, if they changed their mind and decided to do that and they were really cool items, maybe that would start really getting people back on board. But are we going to go from essentially stagnant or going backwards backer count to skyrocketing up to 12? And then I would assume after Mephisto, the second stretch goal is probably going to need somewhere in the neighborhood of, you know, 15,000 backers, maybe 14, but somewhere in that neighborhood. And then, you know, I don't know exactly how many stretch goals there's going to be, whether it's going to be 2, or at least how many they had planned originally. So I don't know if it was 2, 3, or 4, but I feel like, you know, that's going to be really hard to get to. Well, it depends on when it gets to 9,000. If it just ekes over at the last minute to 9,000, then no, I wouldn't necessarily guarantee it's going to get to 9,000. But the problem really is, it's all a perception problem, right? I mean, we saw it with the human form Robbie Reyes. I mean, I told you guys that if it did not get to that early bird figure, you were going to start seeing that counter go backwards. Some people were like, oh, no, you're not, man. No, people don't really care that much about the human form Robbie Reyes. But it's all, a lot of this is psychological and is you know, the perception. So if the perception is that this campaign's not going to get to the stretch goals, then people are either not going to back it or they're going to start canceling again. So the longer it goes that it seems like it's struggling, the more likely people are either, you know, not going to back it at all, or if they've backed it, they might start canceling their orders, like we've already started to see them do. So a lot of it is psychological. So, you know, it like I said, if Hasbro did something this weekend, and obviously I can't tell you that they're not, but if they did something this weekend that really shook things up and really started to get the counter going back up, then, you know, maybe it's got a shot. But if it just kind of sits there stagnant or loses backer, is losing as many backers as it's gaining, then the perception is going to be that even if it got to the 9,000 backers, it's not going to get to any of the stretch goals. And therefore, I'm not going to back this because $350 is just not worth, you know, the car and the one Ghost Rider figure, even with the alternate head, is just not worth paying $350. If I was getting the car, the Ghost Rider, and 4 additional new figures, then I probably would be willing to pay $350. But if I don't think it's going to get to any of those stretch goals, then I'm not going to back it. Or if I backed it in the beginning thinking it was going to get to the stretch goals, and now it's looking likely it's not, well, then I'm just going to go and cancel my order because I don't want to fool with it anymore. So, Jerry, yeah, I mean, basically, they don't charge you until the campaign actually, you know, until the end of the campaign. So, yeah, you can essentially cancel at any point up until then. In fact, I think you got, even after that, I think you have like, there's like a grace period where you can still cancel your order. I forget if it's like 30 or 90 days or something, but yeah, you can definitely cancel. Now, you know, with this idea that people have been floating that you should just back it just so we could get to the early bird or whatever, you know, but, and then, you know, even if you don't want the campaign, then turn around and cancel it. You know, the more that people maybe have been doing that and it kind of abusing the loophole there, makes me think that, you know, going forward for future campaigns, you know, they're going to do something, they're going to implement some rule that says, you know, you can't do that. So I don't know, but I really never thought the idea of, you know, if you want it and you want to back it, that's fine. If you don't want it, don't back it, that's fine. But don't back it if you don't want it and are just planning on canceling your order. Well, Chris, the difference, but I mean, for me, and that's one of the things where when we go back to, the His Tank to me shows that people are perfectly willing to spend that kind of money on a vehicle. It's just what kind of vehicle is the big question. The difference as far as why was the His Tank $300 and why is this Marvel Legend 350? I think the main reason for that is, and I mean we're only talking $50, but I think the main reason for that is Hasbro owns the GI Joe license, so there's no licensing fee. That's not a cost that is incorporated into a GI Joe HasLab. But obviously Hasbro does not own Marvel. They pay a licensing fee to Disney, and that's an added expense that you don't have. Again, with the GI Joe. So I think that's what's the difference between the 300 and the 350. But essentially, those two items were priced almost identical, and they're very similar as far as size and what you're getting, a vehicle and a number of figures and things like that. Both the his tank and this Ghost Rider are very similar in that. That's why, people had no problem. I mean, there were definitely people who started screaming the His Tank was way too expensive and Hasbro was ripping you off. But there was plenty of people who were perfectly fine willing to spend that money and back that campaign because the His Tank was something they wanted. And, that's because vehicles have always been very much an integral part of GI Joe, at least since the 80s. And vehicles are, for a lot of Joe collectors are as important as the figures. But that's not really the same with Marvel Legends or Marvel. No Marvel action figure line has really ever been dependent or relied on vehicles. And so the two just don't go hand in hand like they do in a GI Joe line. Jerry says, wasn't interested in Sentinel as well, if not for the Master Mole head. Well, the Master Mole head was definitely, a great addition. But then you got the Doctor Doom head, which was really crappy. But I mean, I didn't. The Sentinel to me was just a cool enough figure. It was worth getting. Same thing with Galactus, and I haven't had any buyer's remorse with the Sentinel, and I really don't think I'm going to have any buyer's remorse with Galactus either. So, I had no problem paying the money I did for both of those figures, but with this Ghost Rider, I mean and I know we kind of talked about this before, but to me it still amazes me that Hasbro chose this as a HasLab. Not just the vehicle. I mean, I think any vehicle is going to be a tough sell, but if you're going to go and try and do a vehicle for Marvel Legends, I don't know why you didn't go with something that has a bigger following like X-Men or Spider-Man or even Fantastic Four or Avengers. Ghost Rider is probably, in the overall scheme of the Marvel Universe, while I'm sure it has its loyal fans, is not going to be nearly as big as like X-Men. And then, with Ghost Rider, even if you're a Ghost Rider fan, everybody's got their own favorite Ghost Rider. So, you take what's already has a very small fan base, and then you divide it even more because you've got those who are Johnny Blaze Ghost Rider fans, you've got those who are Robbie Reyes or Dan or whatever. So it just, to me, I know it's his anniversary this year, but to me it was just such an odd choice to try and do a HasLab. And I really feel like the biggest issue with this HasLab is they just chose very poorly in what they decided to do. When they planned this out and they priced this out and they saw the price was going to be, $350, somebody really should have said, you know what, as cool as this is, I don't think we're going to be able to sell this particular item for this much money. And we should either look, if we really want to get Robbie Reyes and Ghost Rider out, we should really look at doing it in a cheaper way, or and find something else for HasLab, or just hold off on Robbie Reyes for now. Osman, you're aware of Robotech Macross toys. I'm not a huge Robotech fan, but yes, I am aware of them. They are now finally releasing those cool Bandai DX Chigoken toys. Man, they're awesome. I can't wait for some re-releases for some of those, please. So yeah, I'm aware, but I am Robotech's. I used to watch some of the cartoons, but I've never been a huge Robotech fan. But I have seen some of those that you're talking about, and they do look pretty cool. Very expensive usually, but pretty cool. Blade Runner 6-inch Spider-Man cartoon Spider Slayer. That would be cool. I haven't seen anything for that, but that would be cool. Corn Viper says Robotech, you mean Jetfire. Oh, is that, yeah, I did see the essentially the reissue of Jetfire without like the, which I know was, Hasbro took that from Robotech, the original Jetfire toy. But I saw that being reissued, without obviously the Autobot stickers and everything. But I think that was up for pre-order a few weeks ago at Big Bad Toy Store. And then there was like a black one. Like I know I never collected Robotech as a kid, any of that kind of Robotech stuff as a kid, but I did have the Jetfire. That was really my only exposure to Robotech. All right, well, enough about the HasLab, but what else does everybody want to see this weekend? So I saw somebody earlier say Indiana Jones. So I honestly think that will be one of the highlights of the weekend are the Indiana Jones figure reveals. I've not seen them, and I don't even know all the specific characters. I do know the first wave is going to be based on classic movies, and that's what I think we're primarily going to see this weekend is the first wave, which should be going up for pre-order this weekend as well. So 6-inch figures. Obviously, Indiana Jones is going to be one of them, but from what I haven't, again, I haven't seen them myself, but I've been told by those who have seen them that they look really good. So I I'm pretty I feel like the Indiana Jones stuff is going to be a highlight of the weekend. Blake, any predictions or hard intel for tomorrow? Yeah, I do have a little bit. So, again, with the Indiana Jones 6-inch based on the original movie. Um, but I will tell you for Marvel Legends, uh, I don't know everything that they're going to show, but like the rumored list that Rectangular put out there, which I have not confirmed every individual figure, but I've seen enough to say that I feel pretty confident that that list is accurate. Um, but I don't expect to see much of that tomorrow. The stuff in those listings that leaked out last weekend, I don't expect. Hasbro maybe will tease a few figures from like the Spider-Man wave. Something, I could see them maybe starting to show a couple of the figures from that, or maybe even like the Avengers or the X-Men wave. But I don't expect a lot of that to be shown tomorrow. What I will tell you, you can expect to see tomorrow is a new X-Men retro cardback wave, that will not have a Build-A-Figure. Um, no, it's not the X-Men 97 figures. It is, and I say that because the X-Men 97 figures, again, in the rumored list, those are 2023 products. These retro X-Men figures are 2022 products. I don't know the specific characters. I can't tell you the specific X-Men characters that will be in the wave, but that is something that we should be able to see. We'll probably see tomorrow. And the Mojo figure will be officially announced tomorrow. We've already seen that because it's already been hitting shelves, but that's something they'll be showing tomorrow. So and there'll probably be some store exclusives and some stuff like that. Dan Young basically said this is just going to be kind of like a regular you know live stream. It's not like anything it's not like they're showing the entire year's worth of product or something like that. So you know I am hoping, and again, I can't say this, but I am hoping that one of the figures in this X-Men retro card back wave, maybe two, but probably only one, but I'm hoping at least one of the figures is either Feral from X-Force or the X-Factor Wolfsbane. Um, I'm really hoping at least one of those two is in this wave. Jerry, since I don't know the actual individual figures, it's suppose that's possible. Um, I would, again, that could be something they could start to tease, Robert, the Into the Spider Verse stuff. So I definitely would not expect the full on wave to be revealed tomorrow. But again, that could be something they start to tease. I really, that wave was definitely supposed to be out this year, this Into the Spider Verse. But since the movie was delayed, I mean, we have seen some product already be released for that movie for the younger kid stuff. So I don't know. Um, the Into the Spider Verse wave was originally supposed to be out this year. It was originally product that was solicited for this year, but I don't really know what the current status on those are because of the delay of the movie. D&D. I mean, there's not. Isn't there like an Avalon Hill panel? I'd have to go back and look, but I'm pretty sure there's like a gaming panel. So there's not like a D&D action figure panel per se, but I believe there is a gaming panel that you could see some of those D&D figures get shown off. So I wouldn't necessarily say that we're not going to see D&D tomorrow. I will tell you that for the animated D&D stuff that we saw go up at Target last weekend, that's going to become available everywhere starting this weekend. And then I believe there's at least three more figures in that line that is coming at least. Um, but whether we see those this weekend, I don't know. Curtis says, "Where can the Star Wars brand go?" To be absolutely honest, I really haven't even looked into Star. I have no idea what they're going to show for Star Wars this weekend. You know, more repaints. I mean, I really. I mean, we get a few cool Star Wars figures here and there, but I mean, I yeah, I don't. I have not really looked at Star Wars, so I have no intel on that front. I suppose anything's possible, but I don't have any information on that, Michael. Sorry. Mr. Allmine. So I'm looking forward to the GI Joe panel. I don't really have any inside intel though. I don't expect. I have a feeling what we're gonna see, and this is more of a feeling than anything. For GI Joe, I think we'll probably see like more finalized products of some of the figures they showed us, like digital renders of at say like San Diego Comic Con. Those figures that they showed us the digital renders for. I feel like we probably will maybe get more finalized looks at those figures. Um, and then maybe a few more digital renders of figures that they've already announced where they gave us the names for but haven't shown us any images. So I feel like we're probably not going to find out about any new figures per se, but we'll get better looks at ones we've already gotten a glimpse of, and then our first look at figures that they've already announced. I kind of feel like that's what we're going to end up seeing for GI Joe primarily, and then of course the Serpentor will be going up for pre-order this weekend. What I don't know for sure is like for instance the GI Joe panel is on Saturday, but I have a feeling that Serpentor will be made available for pre-order Friday afternoon. If I remember last year, they didn't wait until the panel happened before like the exclusives went up for pre-order. They just put up all the exclusives for pre-order at the same time. So if you want Serpentor, I would definitely try and be online. It's Friday afternoon, I think, is when they're supposed to go up for pre-order. So I won't say for sure Serpentor will be available on Friday, but I would definitely I definitely feel like there's a possibility it will be. Greg says Serpentor is going to be a night. I hope not. I mean, last year I don't remember it being that. I mean, last year they were made to pre-order, and I don't know if they're doing that this year or not. But hopefully they won't be. I mean, again, I would try and be online in the afternoon both days when the pre-orders go live, but hopefully if you're online during that time, it's not going to be something where they sell out in like 5 seconds. Frustrated fan. Sergeant Stalker, you mean? I've already got Stalker, but I got it from one of the overseas retailers. I don't know if Stalker's shown up here in the US or not, but it's a pretty nice figure. I love the Crimson. I don't know if you guys caught my review of the Crimson Guard soldier, but that's a great figure. Um, uh, I'm hoping Zorana and Dusty get released pretty soon. Uh, Anywhere, as in, will it be made available again? I I have not heard anything specifically. I wouldn't be surprised if at some point it does, but I've not like heard anything specific. Maybe it'll go up again during the Walmart Collector Con, which is next weekend. So that's a possibility, but I don't. I haven't heard anything specific. T-Glow, did I do anything fun? I had an enjoyable birthday. Not like anything major, but like last Friday was my birthday, so um, I worked during the day. So did my wife. But then in the evening, my wife made me one of my favorite meals and a birthday cake. And somehow she managed to get 50 candles on the cake. Don't ask me how she did that. And then we watched the first 3 episodes of Andor and the newest episode of the Lord of the Rings series. So it was a nice, relaxing, enjoyable evening. And then Saturday, my birthday was on Friday, so I got to celebrate throughout the weekend. So Friday, had a nice breakfast, and then we went out with the dog Logan, me and Kara, my wife. We went out for an 11-mile hike. Weather was fantastic last Saturday, so we went out for a 11-mile hike, and then my wife took me out to dinner to one of our favorite restaurants that evening. So again, nothing like super, not like huge party or anything, but just a really nice, relaxing, and enjoyable birthday. So the meal was sweet and sour chicken. It's something she makes, um, and I love it. It's not like a difficult meal to make, but it's just one of my favorites. No, my Iron Man days are somewhat behind me. I mean, I still go run, and yeah, we did the 11-mile hike, but I mean, I used to do like long runs like that on a regular basis, but yeah, it's been a number of years since I've been in Ironman training. Hey Quinn, I gotta be honest with you. I don't know exactly when Stanley's birthday is, but it's a cool birthday to share, or cool to share with somebody. Rodney, it's pretty good so far. I don't know if I like it better than the movies, the original Lord of the Ring movies, but it's been pretty interesting. I mean, I really want to know who the old guy is who fell from the sky. Um, but it's I definitely like it better than the new Game of Thrones series. I felt like this new Game of Thrones series has been a real snooze fest. Um, but yeah, and I like I really haven't been out there looking at people's opinions on Andor, but I really have liked Andor. I watched episode 4 last night. Um, and it's not like super action packed, but I really like the insights that we're getting of the Empire, the early days of the Empire, and then obviously the formation of the Rebel Alliance. So I really have been finding the Andor series interesting. I won't say for sure until I've seen the whole thing, but right now I feel like maybe Andor is my second favorite Star Wars series behind the Mandalorian. Hey John, yeah, and to be, I hadn't read the book, but I cheated and looked online, about the story that the series is based on, and it just doesn't. I mean, it's basically about. I mean, to me, it's just a bunch of in family fighting, and at the end of the day, I mean, it really doesn't seem to accomplish anything. I mean, I won't give it away for those who haven't read it or whatever, but I don't know. It just didn't seem like a very exciting thing to base a TV series on. The original series was just so much better done and just had a much more. I mean, you had a lot of different parts. The winter is coming with the White Walkers. You had everything going on with the Lannisters and the Starks, and it was just much more. But this is just like I said. It just comes off as in family fighting. And I don't know. Just some incest thrown in there, and I don't know. I mean, I know the Targaryens are known for incest, so I know that's part of the lore. But Double Trouble says Golden Age Batman's on its way or soon on its way from Mezco. Too bad, still no sign of Michael Keaton Batman, but Corn Viper likes House of Dragon. I mean, if you like it, that's cool. To me, I've not really been finding it that interesting. And Me Three says didn't like the time jump. I assume you mean I mean this isn't the first time jump they've done, but I assume you mean you don't like the recasting with the older people. Yeah, I thought that was a little weird. Jerry says it's not Game of Thrones without incest. True, true. Frustrated fans. The Kid Flash, you mean? Yeah, I got a shipping notice on Kid Flash already. Uh, McFarlane's not wasting any time, man, with those figures. They like a week after going up for pre-order, they start shipping out. And then like we got all those drops today. I mean, every time you turn around, there's a new McFarlane pre-order. We got the Batman 5 pack. We got the final figure in the Starro Crime Syndicate wave at Target. We got the Red Robin figure finally went up for pre-order on Amazon. John Brooks, what's up, man? Yeah, we got that new Spawn wave. The not only a wait, we got the 2 pack, we got the Mega figure, and then we got the Wave 4 figure. So a lot of Spawn this week. Tiglu, Shazam sold out quick. I don't think Shazam has been up online. It's been hitting physical stores, and I've yet to find it at my local Walmart. But I'm not aware of Shazam actually having been made available on the Walmart website, if that's what you're talking about. Blake, yeah. I mean, it may not be any of them, but Gandalf is my for the guy who fell out of the sky. Gandalf's my guess. But I mean, the thing about like any of those characters, I don't think any of them were featured in the books that the story is based on. So I don't know. I now if you're saying it's online, I gotta check that because I checked that earlier today too, and I didn't see it. Oh, you're right. It did go up. I totally missed that. And you're right. It's currently now sold out. Frack. I wanted the Shazam. I don't care about the Dark Flash figure, but I wanted that Shazam figure. Ah, hopefully it'll go back in stock at some point. I also want the Target exclusive Kyle Rayner Green Lantern. Marcus, it's the Asbat figure, the Azrael Batman, Nightfall Batman is on the Walmart website, but I don't think it's available. I haven't seen it available for purchase in a while. I managed to find that one, just one at my local Walmart, so I do have that one, but I have not been able. I missed it when it went online and sold out, and I haven't seen it available again. But for that one, I got lucky. Um, I went to my local Walmart and I checked the pegs and there was nothing on the peg. And then I went over, like sometimes, they'll have a cart that's just filled with like toys that they need to put back on the shelf. And I looked in the cart and there was one Azrael, Nightfall Batman sitting in the cart. So I snagged it and bought it. But, and I did see the Green Lantern, the Hal Jordan Green Lantern one. I saw that one at Walmart too, but I passed on that one because I don't like the head sculpt on that one. It is. It's on there. It just went up today, probably a few hours ago, but it is on there now. It's sold out, unfortunately, but it is on there. Xandar says the 5 pack looks horrible. I went on and got that because I haven't gotten a Nightwing or a Batgirl figure yet, and I decided and I wanted the Jason Todd Red Hood figure, so I already had the Robin figure, So that's kind of a duplicate, but I didn't have really the others. So I decided to go in and get that one, even though it was $100. Well, I unless there's store exclusive, unless they drop more store exclusives, I don't. I think the next McFarlane pre-order is like next week. So, but I mean, literally, I mean, was it last week or the week before where they literally had like a pre-order every day of the week? Here's the Dark Flash. That one sold out too. This one I don't really care about. I'm going to pass on this one. Sean Bates. So what am I looking forward to for PulseCon? So I'm very interested to see the Indiana Jones stuff. G.I. Joe, I'm always interested in. I think for tomorrow, I think the Marvel Legend panel will be the most exciting panel. Um, we got starting lineup tomorrow. We've got I forget what else is tomorrow, but the big one for Power Rangers is tomorrow. I'm not really that personally. I'm not much into Power Rangers. Michael, why isn't Lizard and Electro? I couldn't tell you, man. I didn't make up the wave, so I can't tell you why they chose who they did. It's possible those could end up being like store exclusives or something like that. So who knows? John, did the new Spawn figures increase prices? Not sure. Yeah, looks like they've gone up to the regular figures have gone up to $25, and then the two packs, the Salmon Twitch 2 packs, $40. The Mega figure, the Omega Spawn is $50. But yeah, the Spawn figures before the regular size Spawn figures, I believe, were $20. So it looks like we are seeing a little bit of a price bump. Power Turtles, no Ghostbusters this weekend. In fact, I noticed it looked like originally for those selfie figures, which will go live tomorrow, which of course they raised the price to $80 on those. I mean, I thought they were kind of lame at $60, but $80. I don't know, but I noticed that originally when they were promoting the selfie figures, they had a Ghostbuster figure in there, but I seem to recall with the recent announcement with the price increase, they weren't listing a Ghostbuster figure. So I don't know if that has any real significance, but no Ghostbuster panel or any new product reveals for Ghostbusters this weekend. Corn Viper, is Super 7 getting a panel at Hasbro PulseCon? No. They are going to be at New York Comic Con next weekend, but I don't think they have a panel. Jerry says, sucks the Street Fighter figures look cheaply done in the Turtle 2-pack. Well, it's from Playmates Toys, man. What were you expecting? But I think the ones that Jada Toys are going to do will be pretty good. Probably not Storm collectible quality, but, you know, they're $20 figures. So if you're looking for, you know, affordable Street Fighter figures, you know, I'd wait for the Jada Toy ones. Three M says, I'm too ugly to be put on an action figure. Honestly, I mean, that's kind of my feeling too. I don't really need to see myself on an action figure. Especially like, you know, you can't, like if I could have, you know, with my hat on or something, maybe. But Power Total Reviews reviewed the Street Fighter Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle figure. It says Street Fighter isn't too bad. And it's what we got so far. Definitely getting J. See, my thing about the Playmates Street Fighter figures is it's not like we're going to get. I seriously doubt we're going to get any more Street Fighter characters. So, you know, what we see in these 2-packs is pretty much it. So it's going to be very limited. I'm kind of like, what's the point of collecting a line that really has no future? So that's really the main reason why I'm going to wait for the Jada Toy ones, because a lot better chance of getting a lot more characters than just like the initial uh, you know, 2 or whatever it was it 2 or 4, I forget. But you know, the Playmates one's very limited in what we're getting as far as character choices. Plus, I've got, yeah, I've still got my Soda Street Fighter figures, which really still hold up today. So Soda is really still my go-to when it comes to Street Fighter. Chuck, I did. I got it yesterday, or was it today? Today or yesterday? But yes, I did get that. Somebody told me that it's going to be figure number 4, and then I guess maybe the bonus figure. So if it's Donatello the Dark, you know, the Batman one, that's the one I'm looking forward to the most. So I'm hoping that's the one that's shipping. Tough Toys 48. Do I think canceling pre-orders on the No Way Home 3-pack is a good idea? I'd wait a little bit. I feel pretty confident they're coming, but I'd hate for you to cancel. I mean, I assume the 3-pack. I mean, I don't think that 3-pack sold out, did it? So it's if the 3-pack is still available, then you're probably safe if you wanted to cancel it, or you know, you're also probably just as safe if you want to wait a little bit. But if the 3-pack is sold out on Hasbro Pulse, then I would hold off until, you know, we get more of an official confirmation. Um, I mean, I can't, assuming that they are coming, which I do think they are. I can't believe that they're going to give us those same figures again without the mask, you know, without the maskless head sculpts. Um, but you know, you never know. I have not looked at. I'm not even sure if it's DC. I know there's a McFarlane pre-order coming up next week, but I'm not sure what exactly it is. McFarlane does make more than just DC. What's up? Was it Ryanos? Is that how you say it? Curtis, who's my favorite GI Joe officer? What do you mean, like officers in like General Flag or General Hawk or or because most of the Joes aren't officers, or do you just mean who's my favorite GI Joe team member? I don't know. I always I don't really have one favorite GI Joe team member. I'm very glad we're getting a Cover Girl figure. I always feel like she gets left out. So I'm very glad Hasbro is going to be doing Cover Girl, but I don't know if I'd consider her my favorite. I like Stalker, I like Gung Ho, Lady J, Scarlet. So I like Snake Eyes, but I get tired of Snake Eyes. I feel like Snake Eyes has taken over GI Joe, and I Sean just got the twins. Awesome figures, man. I got the twins a while ago, again from overseas retailer. Those are great figures. I there is not one GI Joe figure I've been super unhappy with. The Lady J figure has really loose legs, so she's very hard to keep standing. But are you asking if the figure's blonde or brunette, or if I prefer her as a blonde or brunette? The figure's brunette, but I kind of like her as a blonde. I think she only appeared as a blonde in the original GI Joe miniseries. The Mass Device. I'm the same way, 3M. I definitely like Cobra. As far as figures and stuff go, I like the Cobra stuff better than the GI Joe. Oh, right. Okay, Rhino. Rhino. I like the Lady J figure. It's just with that's the one I've had the most quality control issues with because the legs have just been so very loose on her. Um, the hair falls off very easily as well. But the figure, I like the look of the figure, but uh, Everett, I have not heard a release date on the Mirage NECA Turtles. I assume you're talking about the ones that they showed off at PowerCon. I haven't had a huge problem with Baroness, but I like the Cobra Island Baroness better than the retro Baroness. But yep, New York Comic Hasbro PulseCon this weekend, New York Comic Con next weekend. Jerry says those Snake Eyes movie figures holding up good at $20 in stores. Those are the only. Anytime I go to Target or Walmart, the only GI Joe classified figures I ever see are those GI Joe movie figures, and I do still see the original Gung Ho figure. Though I will tell you, I went to Walmart just I think it was yesterday, and they did have the Crocmaster figure, and they had the retro card back Baroness and Lady J figure. So they did have those at my Walmart. Cornbite. So Todd McFarlane will be at New York Comic Con if that's what you're saying. I don't know if McFarlane Toys is going to have a presence, as in like, are they going to show off new product at New York Comic Con? I don't know. Todd will be there, just like he was at San Diego. But I don't, and McFarlane Toys was at D23 this year, and they did have a booth at D23. But I don't know if they're gonna have a booth at New York Comic Con. So I don't know if we're gonna see new product at New York Comic Con from McFarlane Toys. NECA will be there. Super7 will be there, though. Again, with Super7, I don't know. They're gonna sell some exclusive reactions and stuff. I think they're gonna do a Muckman glow in the dark Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle Ultimates figure. But I don't know if they're really showing much in the way of new product there. Uh, I won't say it's impossible, but I have not seen them specifically say that Dr. Mindbender was going to be made available again this weekend. So it's possible, but I can't sit here and tell you definitively yes. John, Diamond Select Toys has got some exclusives, though those are available online, so I don't know if I really count those as exclusives. Um, McFarlane has like New York Comic Con exclusives, but they're like being released through Target or Walmart. So I don't know. A lot of these things get sold online these days. So, ever since COVID. So I don't know if I really consider them exclusives to the show, but like I don't think NECA's doing any kind of New York Comic Con exclusives. Um, so Super7 and Diamond Select Toys are in Tomasi Nations will probably have some stuff. No. Tomorrow for the Target Geek Out is Funko, but then October 2nd they're going to do a drop from various companies. So I don't know what they're, kind of taking us into New York Comic Con. So October 2nd is actually the final day for Target Geek Out. So Sunday, there's Funko drops on Friday, and then Sunday, they're doing various drops, it sounds like, from companies, and I don't know exactly what we're going to see. Well, 3M says Todd McFarlane had control of Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. That would be awesome. You mean if he actually owned the license to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, as opposed to just having the toy license to make Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle toys? Because Nickelodeon is the license holder, but like Playmates Toys is the master toy license for Turtles, and then NECA obviously and Super7 do turtle figures as well. But I mean McFarlane doesn't really do cartoons and stuff, so yeah, I don't. A 6-inch helicarrier. That's pretty much like saying GI Joe flag USS flag. I don't see that happening. I am curious, like, assuming the Ghost Rider fails, it doesn't get backed. I am curious if Hasbro will reevaluate the HasLab. I don't see them totally not doing any more HasLabs, but I wonder if they might consider just doing like one HasLab a year and then just like switching off in the various brands. So one year they do Marvel Legends, one year they do Star Wars, one year they do G.I. Joe, kind of spread it out a little bit more. Um, I don't know. Kyle says McTodd Turtles would be a disaster. I don't know if it's necessarily a CEO thing, but definitely, I mean, those the Marvel Legends brand team does not set the prices per se on their products. You know, they're not the ones. I mean, obviously I mean there's a lot of factors that go into pricing, okay? So, obviously when you're deciding to do something, like when they go in and plan these HasLab campaigns. I mean, I don't know the exact process, but you know, if you're familiar with any kind of project management, you know, you're going to basically design it and then cost it out. So you're going to like, you know, put it together from a design perspective, and then you're going to basically cost it out and say this is how much it's going to cost us to make this. And then you're going to throw it, you know, they're going to have a set profit margin baked in to that. And then, you know, they got to decide, okay, this is how much it's going to cost and this is how much profit we're going to make. Can we reasonably expect to sell this at this cost and it to be a success? And, you know, in the case of the Ghost Rider, I feel like whoever said yes to that made a mistake, but but I don't know if, yeah, I seriously doubt the CEO is the sole person who determines the price. John, no mask at PulseCon. I don't know where you heard that. Let me rephrase. I seriously doubt we're going to see any. I won't say, you know, it's not like Hasbro shared their entire itinerary, but I don't think there's going to be any masks shown or Micronauts. Of course, I will say that the D&D animated figures did catch me by surprise a bit. Definitely Indiana Jones. Indiana Jones has its own panel Saturday. So, first wave, at the very least, the first wave of 6-inch figures will be shown, which will all be based on the original movies or movie. I don't know exactly how they've broken it down, but nothing from the new movie. See, I like DC Multiverse. I like, you know, I like what McFarlane Toys has been doing, but no, I really don't think McFarlane Toys would be a good choice for Marvel. Hasbro has its issues, but Hasbro, when I still prefer overall Marvel Legend figures to like DC Multiverse figures. And the reason why I say that is, I mean, there is some biases, and I tend to like Marvel characters more than DC characters. I've always been more of a Marvel person than a DC person. I like them both, but if I had to choose a side, I've always been more of a Marvel person than a DC person. But I generally like Marvel Legends articulation better. I like that you generally get more accessories with Marvel Legend figures. Um, I think when it comes to like likenesses for face scans, Hasbro does a lot better job than McFarlane Toys does. McFarlane still has not done a great job with getting the likenesses of like movie characters and stuff. The Black Adam figure, they did a pretty good job with The Rock, but that's like the only one out of movie characters I've seen them do that I thought that they did a really good job. So, you know, I like both companies. I like a lot of products that both companies put out, but if I had to choose between Marvel Legends or DC Multiverse, I would still choose, even at the higher prices, I would still choose Marvel Legends. And I would not, you know, we get a lot wider range of characters from Hasbro for Marvel. You know, McFarlane's still very rare, you know, does not given us a lot of obscure comic book characters. You know, we get all the different Batman variations and stuff, but you know, you start, I mean, we still haven't even gotten a freaking comic book regular version of Wonder Woman for DC Multiverse. I mean, so again, I'm not saying Hasbro doesn't have its problems. I'm not saying Hasbro, you know, is perfect in any way, and I definitely like both companies, but I would not want to see the Marvel license go to McFarlane Toys. Now, where McFarlane has really been, we're giving credit where credit's due. Where McFarlane has really been doing a fantastic job of is getting the product out to market. Hasbro, you know, in the past year or so has really struggled with that. I don't know why they've. I don't know if it's. I mean, obviously there are, you know, all the shipping issues and everything, and possibly, you know, losing their CEO has caused a lot of the inner turmoil that, you know, maybe we've been seeing at Hasbro. So that may play a part. But the fact is, Hasbro has been struggling to get product out to shelf in any real numbers, whereas McFarlane has been cranking it out left and right. And, you know, we get pre-orders on a regular basis, but then the stuff ships very quickly. So definitely McFarlane has been shining much better in that category than Hasbro has. Now, I will say Hasbro puts out a lot more stuff than McFarlane, but still, McFarlane has done a fantastic job with getting products out to shelves. A lot better than Hasbro's been doing the past year or so. A Tyrone, a 6-inch Street Fighter line and a Mega Man line, not necessarily all Capcom, but Jada Toys is doing Street Fighter, and they're also doing a line of Mega Man figures. I mean, one of the things I hate about McFarlane is I hate where you have to buy the same figure just to get like an alternate head or something. You know, McFarlane does not give us very many accessories with their figures. That's one of the ways he has kept the cost down, is very minimal with accessories. So, and I feel like if Hasbro went that route, people would have a cow. Um, if Hasbro made you buy the exact same, always, I mean, I'm not saying that they don't, you know, often will, you know, they will put out a figure and then they'll a lot of times put out a better, especially with the movie stuff, you know, they'll give us a figure early on and then they'll give us a better version down the road. But it's not quite the same. I mean, McFarlane literally, you know, if you want the unmasked head, you've got to buy a second figure. If you want the masked, you know, and it's just, that's definitely something about McFarlane I really do not like. Welcome back, Articulated. And I also, it's too early to say, but I do work, like McFarlane has been using those kind of rubber, I don't know exactly what that material is, but it's a rubber type material in the crotch section of his figures. And I do worry that over time that is going to end up getting stretched out on a lot of those figures. So I do worry about the McFarlane figures and how well they'll last over time. And even like the Blue Beetle 2-pack that they did, I really didn't like how like it looked like, you know, those figures were wearing saggy diapers from behind. So that gives me some concern on the McFarlane figures. I mean, you know, we've talked about this before. When you look, like, if you sit down and you kind of analyze each toy company, whether it's NECA, McFarlane, Hasbro, Mattel, uh, each one has like areas where I feel like they're stronger at, and then they have weaknesses. You know, NECA figures look great, but they break super easy. They're very delicate to handle. Um, so, you know, I feel like every company to me has things I tend to like about them, but they also have things that I don't like about them. What's up, Dwayne? Now, I got this today. This arrived today from Mattel. So, you know, when we talk about value of figures, this is definitely, this was kind of an impulse buy for me. At first, I wasn't going to get it. This is from the Mattel Creations website. It's the Masters of the Universe Origins He-Man 4-pack. $150 for 4 Origins figures. So this is definitely something, I haven't opened it yet, but this is really something where, like, I got it, I talked myself into getting it, and then right afterwards, I really kind of felt like I shouldn't have gotten this, because I just felt like it wasn't worth $150. Being that, like, the Masters of the Universe Origins figures cost at most, what, $15 each? So you do get the fancy packaging, of course, but so you got kind of book style packaging inside for each of the figures. So that's interesting. They've made it so they've got the packaging style where, like, you don't actually have to rip it open to open it. That's kind of interesting. So the main thing that attracted me to this set, like I don't even, like, I have never watched a single episode of New Adventures of He-Man. I've never, this is not a He-Man that I've ever really been that interested. But I did like, you know, the weapons. And I guess at first I thought these were going to be made with like a die-cast metal. They're not. It's vac metal, so it's plastic. I mean, I like the shininess of them, but again, I'm not sure that justifies the price. So I don't know. I mean, probably, you know, if I'm not a big reseller, but I suppose if down the road I could probably end up reselling this for more than what I paid for it. But this is definitely one of those purchases where I kind of feel like it was an impulse buy. I kind of talked myself into it. And then right afterward, I was like, yeah, this really wasn't worth the money. The packaging's nice, though. I will give them that. They did a good job with that. But that's where I go, you know, we get into these, and I see a lot of collectors get into these arguments, you know, especially like with the HasLabs and stuff about, you know, whether these things are worth it or not. And, you know, I feel like, you know, it's going to be that the answer to that question is going to be different for every collector. Yeah. First of all, like, I like He-Man, but I'm not like, I don't like He-Man in the way of, say, like Pixel Dan. I don't live, eat, and breathe Masters of the Universe. So, you know, somebody like Pixel Dan, this is probably a set that he honestly probably would have no problem paying $150 for. But for me, I'm just not. The value for me is not there, and I kind of like, you know, like I said, and I think we've all done that. I think we've all bought stuff and then kind of regretted it. So, you know, that's when it's not worth it. You know, when you want to get in the discussion of is something not worth it, then, you know, if you buy it and you don't feel like you're satisfied with it, then it probably wasn't worth the money. I have no idea what the profit margin, you know, what kind of profit margin Mattel had on this set. I feel like maybe, you know, it was pretty high, being they own the license for He-Man, and, you know, again, these figures generally are at most $15 each. And while the packaging and everything's nice, I'm not really sure it justifies, you know, $150. But, you know, to me, that's really immaterial. Mattel didn't force me to buy this. I could have said, no, I'm not going to buy it, and not. So while I'm not sure the value is here, you're not going to hear me rant that Mattel's ripping us off because they sold this set for $150. And, you know, and I feel, because this question came up, I was in a Facebook group, and the question, you know, about breaking down the costs of these things. And I feel like if I really went around the room and started breaking down the cost of, you know, how much I paid as to, was it really worth it from a, you know, monetary point of view, I feel like I'd probably end up convincing myself that I, you know, a lot of the stuff in here isn't worth what I paid for. And I mean, even like, you know, we've talked about, you know, these video game machines, you know, Arcade1Up probably has a good profit margin set into these things because they're probably not done at a high production rate. So, but I enjoy them. So to me, and I have the money, so to me, they're worth buying. But that's why I really, you know, that's why I don't really get into the whole, let's sit down and try and break down the cost of exactly how much it, you know, how much did it really cost Hasbro to make something, or how much did it cost Mattel to make this, and how much profit did they make, and all that. Corin, we've had that. That's not I'm pretty sure that's not true. I think that was a Scott Guru rumor, and I don't think there was ever any basis for Toy Guru. Yeah. Everyone says Mattel can't lose the license, they own it. They can't lose it, but they could sell it, which is I think what Scott had claimed, that Mattel years ago sold the license off to somebody or something. But I'm pretty sure you'll continue to see Mattel make Masters of the Universe business as usual into next year. If another company was taking over Masters of the Universe at this point, I'm pretty sure we would have heard something about it. Things like that don't stay a secret in the toy industry, believe. I, I mean, we had, you guys brought this whole thing up with the Mattel thing. It was months ago. Actually, I think I did a video, about that. So you should go watch my video about why I don't think Mattel is losing the rights to He-Man, the Masters of the Universe. There's no documented proof that of to back up what Scott said in his video. So, and as far as I know, if he's never provided any documented proof either. I gave away a his I gave did I give away one or two his tanks? I forget. I gave away a his tank and a Sky Striker. Did I do one for one of the last? Did I do a Galactus? I can't remember. But I have not. I'll do this. If the Ghost Rider gets to 9,000, then I'll do a giveaway for a Ghost Rider. But I'm not going to do a giveaway unless unless we actually are going to get the Ghost Rider. So you're hearing it here first. If the HasLab gets to 9,000 backers before October 31st, then I'll do a live stream and I will buy one for one of you guys. I'm not going to get one for myself because I'm just not that interested, but I'll buy one and give it away here in a future live stream, assuming it gets to at least the 9,000 backers. Yeah, I did do one for Galactus. Yeah. Yeah, I do so many damn giveaways, I forget what I've I did not back the Riva lightsaber. I didn't back the Rancor. I wasn't gonna back the Rancor. The only there's two HasLabs that I didn't back that got funded. I didn't back the original Star Wars sail barge because I didn't have the space for it and such. So I didn't back that one. But that one did get funded, obviously. And then that Star Saber Transformer one I didn't back, and that one got funded. But those are the only two HasLabs that I didn't back that got funded. All the other ones I didn't back didn't get funded. Not saying there's a correlation there, but I didn't back them because they didn't interest me. Just like with this Ghost Rider, whoever chose the Rancor as a HasLab, I feel like I'm like, what were they smoking when they decided that was a good idea? I mean, there are definitely people who want a Rancor, but just not that many that are going to spend that much money for a Rancor. What is my most valuable action figure? So it's not an action figure, it's a Lego set. It is a Toy Fair exclusive Lego set for Star Wars. And it's this it's just a little teeny set that is of Yoda sitting on the corner of a New York City corner. So that thing I saw go on eBay for like a shit ton of money. I mean, I was like shocked. Um, I hadn't realized that that thing had become so valuable. So I would say that is probably my most valuable item. Now, while there were like I saw one sell on eBay for like a shit ton of money. Will if I put it on eBay, would I be able to sell it for that much? I mean, it's hard to say, but definitely I feel like that's probably. And I mean, I forget exactly how much. I mean, I think we were talking like $18,000 that thing was selling for, and I mean, I was like floored. Maybe it was 15, but I mean, it was like some like. I mean, I would never pay that much money for it, but and I only have, I only have like the eBay, the old eBay auctions to go by for what they had sold. So, and I got it for free. It was a giveaway by Lego at one of the toy fairs. I think it was like 2010 or so. I don't know. I forget which year it was, but I didn't pay anything for it. It was given to me by Lego for attending, toy fair one year, and that thing has skyrocketed. And it's a cool set. I mean, I remember when when they gave it to me, I was like, oh yeah, this is really cool. But never in my life did I imagine it was going to become something that valuable. What's my most valuable Marvel Legend? I don't know. I open most of my Marvel Legends, so I don't have like a Toy Biz Blue Wasp figure or anything like that. So I don't know if I really have any super valuable Marvel Legend figures. I have most of the old Toy Biz Marvel Legends, but they're all, opened and been well played with. And so it's upstairs in my office, but here, let me see if I can find. I'm trying to find it. So I can't find that original auction. but like this is just the minifigure. This is not even the complete set. But like you can see, this is selling for $7,000, or that one's sold for $7,000. These are auctions that sold. So and this is just the minifigure. So this isn't even like the complete set. So like I have the complete, like I never, it comes in a clear plastic little square box, and it's like Times Square. It's like it's the corner of Times Square, and it has this figure sitting, and he's holding like I want to say he's supposed to be holding like a newspaper or something. So I haven't like had it officially appraised or tried to sell it or anything like that, but but so could I actually get that much money for? I don't know, but it's definitely, I would. I mean, if I sold it for $1,000, I'd be still making $1,000 profit. But I have a feeling if I tried to sell it, I would get a lot more than that. But I mean, I I know there are people who spend that kind of money on stuff like that, but to me, I look at those people and I think, man, you're crazy. I mean, it's a cool thing, but not that cool. But I have no reason. I'm not really in desperate need of the cash. So like I thought about it. This was like, you may recall, when I was going through all my stuff that was in the storage facility, this I've kept in my office. So it wasn't in the storage facility, but I was going through all the stuff. And as I pulled something out, I would look it up on eBay just to see what it was selling for. And I just decided to look at that, and that's when that thing popped. Like somebody had bought it for $18,000, or I think it was 15. I think it was 15,000, but it was something astronomically high, and I was like completely blown away. And I have a few other like Lego exclusive Toy Fair items from previous years that weren't quite that much, but I think the question is Toy Art competitive with TNI? And I would say no, they're not. You're gonna find more breaking news on TNI than any other website out there, but for action figures. I mean, that's just me bragging about my own site. So yeah, that's what it is. It's the 2013 Toy Fair exclusive Yoda on the Times Square corner. But like so I was like looking at it and I was like, wow, maybe I should sell this. If I could get anywhere near $15,000, maybe I should try and sell this. But then I thought, well, I don't really need the money right now, so something like that's only likely going to go up in value, not down. So I figured I'll just keep holding on to it. One day I might sell it, but if it goes up even more in price, maybe one day I'll sell it and retire. I don't know, but Gino, if you're talking about on YouTube, yeah, we'll do a huge celebration. Unfortunately, at the pace the channel picks up new subscribers, it's going to be a long time before this channel hits 100,000 subscribers. So, but definitely, if I'm still doing videos and we reach that benchmark, we'll do something special. Jerry says I can give it away here. I don't collect in general. I don't collect for value. I'm not a huge reseller, so I don't spend a lot of time going, "Oh, is this valuable? Is this worth a lot of money? Can I sell this?" You know, like I said, I had all that stuff. I had 20 years worth of collectibles that was just gathering dust over in the storage facility, and so I decided it was time to sell that stuff because I wasn't really getting any enjoyment out of it. So, and that's when I was starting to go through things. I will tell you, for those of you, like, that whole thing started when I couldn't find the Marvel Legends uh, San Diego Comic-Con exclusive Savage Land set. I never found that thing. I do not know what the hell happened to that, but I never found that. It never showed up. I don't know. Somebody snuck in my closet and stole it one night. I really don't know what happened to that thing, but I never found that. Which kind of pisses me off because now, again, if somebody walked up to me and offered me, $20,000 for that Yoda thing, I definitely would have to think about it. Um, but like I never in my life did I dream that that thing was going to become worth a lot of money, and I have a few collect exclusive San Diego or con exclusives, Toy Fair exclusives, things like that I have up in my closet, which when I started to look at worth a couple $100 here, or things like that, but Salome stole it. If it was a small little accessory, she probably would have. I mean, I feel like it's got to be somewhere, but I looked everywhere. It was not in the storage facility. Um, I've looked through the closet upstairs in my main office. I don't keep stuff like that down here, so it wouldn't be down here. Corn Vipers, did you want that back? I mean, one day it'll probably just miraculously show up somewhere, and I'll be like, "That's where the fuck it was." But for the life of me, I have no idea where that thing could have gone. Well, that's the thing. I got it at whatever year that was released. I got it at San Diego Comic Con that year, and then I brought it home and I put it in my closet. I never opened it. I wasn't super thrilled with like the Sigma 6 uh, tiger that they put in there. I thought that didn't. So I never opened it. I just sat it in my closet and then kind of forgot about it, and I'd seen it, a few times in the closet. But when I went, it was like I was in a store, I was in a vintage toy store, and I saw it was selling for several $100, and I was like, wow, has that thing become that worth that much money? So I was like, I decided to go. When I went home, I was like, I'm gonna take a look at it, and it was gone, and never found it. Maybe, I don't know. Like I said, one day it'll turn up. It'll be like in a box with comic books or something like that. It'll turn up somewhere, but for the life of me, I have no idea where that thing is. Well, I'm pretty sure the tiger that came with the Savage Land set was from the GI Joe Sigma 6 line, if I remember correctly. I'm pretty sure Hasbro took one of their Sigma 6 tigers and stuck it in that Savage Land box. Um, this, I mean, they do have climate control storage facilities, But honestly, if you have a collectible that you think is valuable, I would not recommend putting it in a storage facility. You know, I stuff I put in the storage facility was stuff that I just gathered up over the years and really didn't display anymore, and so it was just, yeah, and I didn't have enough space here in the house. But anything that I perceived as like remotely valuable, I kept here in the house, for the most part anyway. So, you know, you never know with a storage facility, you know, water can leak in, or you know, the power, you know, who knows. So my recommendation, I mean, again, they do technically have climate control facilities, but I would not, if you have something you think is valuable, I would not put it in a storage facility. I'd keep it in your house. Well, like my next project, which who knows when I'll get around to it, but like I did with the toys, I'm going to go through all my comic books. You know, I have long boxes and long boxes of comic books that I collected, you know, from the late 80s all the way through the early 2000s, all bagged, or most of them are all bagged and backboard. So I don't know if I'm going to sell them, but I do at some point just kind of want to go through them all. Yeah, a Lockjaw. They did the Marvel Universe Lockjaw, which was pretty good, but definitely I would like a 6-inch one. No, we've never gotten a Rose figure before. All right, we're going on 9 o'clock, so we've been at it for almost 2 hours. So I think we're going to call it a wrap tonight, but tomorrow we got PulseCon. Again, tomorrow's big, I think the big panel for tomorrow is going to be Marvel Legends. So, I mean, if you're a Power Rangers fan, that's going to be tomorrow. Starting lineup. I wonder if we're going to see a Michael Jordan starting lineup figure tomorrow. I wouldn't be too surprised if we saw that. New Mutants 98. Or is that... I have like all the... I don't have every New Mutants issue. I'm missing some of the earlier issues, but I have all the later issues of New Mutants leading right up into X-Force. Dwayne, Classified's on Saturday, so we got to wait till Saturday for that one. All right, so yeah, thanks for coming in tonight. Always appreciate it, guys. It's been fun chatting. I'll probably do... I don't know if I'll get... Because the Hasbro stuff's going to go through, you know, pretty late tomorrow. So hopefully I'll try and get a news video up tomorrow. But again, thanks for checking in tonight. If you missed any of the panels, we'll have full coverage up on the websites as always. And till next time, guys. Here we go. Yeah, until next time, guys. I'll catch you later.
Hey, thanks for watching today's video, and be sure to subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and hit that bell notification so alerted every time I upload a new video. And be sure to head over to the Toy News International and Marvelous News message boards communities. It's a great place to talk toys and win cool contests like $100 store credits to Big Bad Toy Store. And remember, action figures are great,